Croeso, this is James, aka JP Harker, coming to you with another video. Filmed the same day as the previous one where I was in this get-up, so I'm not going to explain it twice. Hopefully with slightly better sound quality, because I'm still working out this setup. But I'm just going to have a deeper look at a couple of the books that I mentioned in the last video about things I'd gotten for Christmas. And they are going to be the highlights from Welsh History and Horus Rising. So I'm going to start with this one. Now, Gift for Christmas, I haven't read it as a paperback, but I have read it twice as the audiobook, and I really enjoyed it. For those who don't follow the 40k, or in this case 30k universe, the basic premise is it's the far future, humanity colonized the galaxy, then it all went wrong and it collapsed, and now a superhuman called the Emperor is going around trying to bring everything back into a single empire. To help him do this, he's created 20 super-duper humans who are sort of his genetic sons, but bred in a lab, and each of them has a legion of genetically enhanced super soldiers, as well as the Imperial Army, which is normal people. And the premise of the Horus Heresy, minor spoiler, but not really, because you can tell from the title and anyone who's even heard of this, there's going to be a civil war and Horus is going to be involved. Now, this follows a member of Horus's legion, which is the Lunar Wolves, later renamed the Sons of Horus, and the protagonist is Gavial Loken, who is quite close to Horus. Now, to me, I've read quite a few of the Heresy books, and this is probably the best so far. A lot of them are very well written, a lot of them have good characters, a lot of them have good plots, a lot of them are interesting, but this has all of those things, with the added bonus that, because it's at the very start, we're seeing Horus at his best. It's like when you see a prequel to... I don't like talking up the Star Wars prequels too much, but in something like Episode 3, seeing Anakin Skywalker as a heroic figure, knowing what he will become. Same sort of thing. You might say that's a spoiler, it's really not, it's in the title of the series. But, yeah, it's interesting to see him from that perspective. And Gavial Loken is a good character. He flirts with being a Mary Sue, but not in that he's the best at everything ever. He's very, very competent, but he's not indestructible. He is, however, incorruptible, because the closest thing to Mary Sue-ishness that he has is he is very, very virtuous and dedicated. The phrase they use in this is, you're so straight up and down. And it's interesting because these genetic soldiers, they are bred to be obsessively loyal to their Legion commander, their Primarch, and to the Legion itself. But they're also bred to be loyal to the Imperium and to its ideals. A big one of which is the Emperor is trying to eradicate all religion and superstition on the grounds that it does more harm than good. He's trying to make a fully secular, scientific, logic-based society for numerous reasons. So when things like the warrior lodges become a part of the Legion and there's a ceremonial aspect that isn't quite religious but that has a discomforting resonance to it, he becomes uncomfortable, but he's also fanatically loyal to the Legion, and his conflict is what makes it interesting. Yes, it's lots of boltery battles and fun, but it's that conflict that makes it interesting, and the setting of early on that makes it interesting. So yes, I shall enjoy reading this. I think I will recommend this to anyone who wants to start this universe. This is where to begin. After a very positive review, we're going to get a mediocre review, I'm afraid, because Highlights from Welsh History was difficult to rate. I think I rated it 3 stars on Goodreads. I'd flirted with making it a 2-star, but it made it up to 3 because its virtues slightly outweigh its flaws. It's interesting, the concept is it's right there in the title, it's Highlights, and a little quote on the front, a concise and positive look at Welsh history. It is very concise. It's got lots of fun little facts in it, and they're interesting, and they make me think, oh, I'd like to know more about that. But the problem with it is, and it really comes to the fore about halfway through, it is incredibly biased. It's very much Wales are the best, and we're not going to hear a bad word about us. Now, as a rather, not extreme, but as a rather keen patriot, I liked that to begin with. I liked yes, the laws of Hywel were showing that we've always had a concept of fairness over tyranny and vengeance dominating our legal system. It's more been about do the right thing by everybody. That's a Welsh way, and I loved that. But as we went through and through, it became more and more apparent it's Welsh superiority above all. And I had enough of that in school, thanks very much. So, yes, what really gave it away was the description of Lloyd George, who some of you know, some of you don't know, Prime Minister during the Great War, and was Welsh. Yes, he was very, very good, initially anti-war, but once we got into it, he was determined that we should end it quickly. He became Minister of War, eventually became Prime Minister, and did a lot of good. He was a good Prime Minister, which is rare. But the way this is written, you'd think he was the bestest thing to happen to politics ever. And it glosses over, it mentions, but glosses over the whole black and tans thing. And the fact that it does that, and the fact that for the last third of it, it's so very, very flag-waving and not in a too positive a way. I looked up the author, Emrys Roberts, and he is an active Plaid Cymru politician, which I hadn't known when I started. Plaid Cymru is, for the most part, a party that I would tend to support. They are both pro-Welsh independence, which I'm on the fence about, but they're also quite left-wing. So overall, I'm sort of on his side. But when you realise a fact is being spoken by a politician, my instinct is double-check and see if it's true. Because cynical though it is, politicians spin things for their own purposes. And this got a little bit too we are the best ever, because even though mostly I agree with what they are saying, I like my accounts of history to have a little bit more objectivity to them. So, yeah, that left the ending a little bit here and there. It did, however, have enough of interest that's made me think I will go and research this fact or that fact, and I will learn more. And for a book that says its highlights and it's concise, that's all you can really hope for anyway, regardless of if you have an issue with the way the author has presented it. The most you can hope for in a book this size is that it will inspire you to learn more, and it has. So in that respect, it's done what it set out to do. So, there we go. I'll wrap it up around there. So, Horus Rising by Dan Abnett. Strongly recommend, if you're even vaguely into science fiction, have a go at that. I'm not a big sci-fi guy, but I like 40k. Have a go. This, take it with a grain of salt, but worth a look, if only as a jumping off point to an interest in Welsh history. So, that's my thoughts on that. I shall leave it at there then. Leave it at there, leave it there, or leave it at that. Something like that. Again, hopefully this new system I've got with camera and microphone will get steadily better and will allow me to make videos a little bit more regularly. We shall see. Meanwhile, hopefully everyone is enjoying their 2023 so far, and I shall see you all next time. So, this is James, aka JP Harker. Hwyl fawr.